Something unprecedented is happening in the United States. 10 states are facing multiple crises at once: power failures, unemployment spikes, housing collapse, and civil unrest. These aren't isolated incidents. They're overlapping, accelerating, and spilling into neighboring regions. How did it get this bad? What's driving the collapse? And what does it mean for the rest of the country? Imagine waking up and finding your city has no power, no emergency services, no access to your bank account, and no clear leadership. That's the reality now facing millions of Americans. And experts are warning that this may be just the beginning. 1. California. Infrastructure failure and cyberattacks. California's electric grid was recently hit by a sophisticated cyberattack that left millions without power. Critical services, including hospitals and emergency response, went down for hours. This wasn't the first time, but it was the most widespread. Cybersecurity officials confirmed foreign involvement. 2. Texas. Energy market crash and unemployment. Texas saw a massive drop in oil and gas exports, causing an economic shockwave. With the housing market already fragile, thousands lost their jobs and foreclosures surged. Local governments are struggling to provide basic services as tax revenue collapses. 3. Florida. Disaster aftermath and insurance collapse. Back-to-back hurricanes devastated Florida's coastal cities. Infrastructure damage is estimated in the billions. Worse, several insurance companies have withdrawn from the state, leaving homeowners and small businesses in financial ruin. Recovery efforts are slow, and frustration is rising. 4. Illinois. Budget collapse and civil unrest. Illinois has defaulted on key public payments, leading to unpaid workers and school closures. Protests have turned violent in some cities, especially in Chicago, where clashes between demonstrators and law enforcement continue. Local governments are seeking federal assistance. 5. New York. Financial sector instability. A cascade of public debt defaults triggered panic among investors. Several regional banks froze customer withdrawals, leading to runs on local branches. The financial ecosystem is under immense pressure, and unemployment is climbing. 6. Michigan. Manufacturing shutdown. Michigan's auto industry is in crisis due to supply chain disruptions. With a halt in parts from overseas and layoffs at major plants, joblessness is surging. The impact on surrounding towns has been devastating, with growing demand at food banks and shelters. 7. Arizona. Water shortages and resource tensions. Arizona's reservoirs have dropped to historic lows. Water is now being rationed in several cities. Tensions between rural communities and urban centers over resource access are increasing, with some counties demanding federal mediation. 8. Georgia. Supply chain breakdown. Fuel shortages and major highway bottlenecks have brought movement of goods to a crawl. Businesses are closing down due to lack of inventory. Public transportation services are reduced or suspended in major cities. 9. Oregon. Political fragmentation. Rural parts of Oregon are distancing themselves from state mandates, refusing to enforce certain laws. There's growing friction between local governments and the state, with some counties voting on measures to realign with neighboring states. National consequences. 1316 to 1430. The collapse of these 10 states is already impacting the rest of the country. Supply chains are disrupted. Markets are unstable. Crime is rising in areas that are receiving large numbers of displaced people. National resources are stretched thin. A leaked internal report from the Department of Homeland Security warns that unless immediate measures are taken, additional states could follow within months. The situation is serious, but not hopeless. Local communities are stepping up. Mutual aid groups are providing food and resources where government systems have failed. Experts recommend having a preparedness plan and staying informed through reliable sources. This isn't a regional issue anymore. It's a national emergency. Stay alert, stay informed, stay ready. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe for ongoing updates.